Boo! I'm the ghost, and it's time to finish Season 1 with the last video, the top 10 of Season 1. I started this list by removing 5 episodes I already talked about, being the 5 worst of the season, and then I decided to go fishing and took out 12 candidates to contend for a spot on the list. And honestly, I think I did a good choice. Maybe. I hope I don't say anything that I would regret in a couple of years, or weeks, or days. Let's chop and slice the intro and get right into the countdown. This is my top 10 of Season 1. The paper seems to be hated by some people, and some others call it boring. But I like the paper. It's a fun episode with simple concepts, but with interesting ideas. The whole episode basically asks the question, so what can we do with a piece of paper? Simple, you can make a parachute, an eye patch, a mustache, animal imitations, a cape, origami, a helicopter, a candy wrapper, music, and so much other stuff. That's the magic of the paper, taking a simple daily life object and making it a fantastical object. It's a simple idea, but it leaves us with some solid gags, fun interactions, and a lesson on thanking what we have. The ending is also good, showing what a good friend Spongebob is, and also being one of the first instances of mad, crazy Squidward. And that Patrick line tying the start of the episode with the ending, just genius. What makes the paper stand here on this spot is a good collection of ideas, creativity, and good writing. I know some people might find it bad, but in my book, I like simple concepts taken to the limit, and the paper is a good example of that. Employee of the Month follows Spongebob going insane and driving Squidward with him. But the story isn't just that, it's much more than its ending. The episode starts as simple as Mr. Krabs saying that Employee of the Month will begin, and Krabs wanting Spongebob to work harder tells him Squidward will win the spot. SpongeBob, being SpongeBob, goes in a perfectionist psycho mode and upsets Squidward. When SpongeBob realizes he probably can't defeat Squidward, he decides to sabotage him. After SpongeBob fails to sabotage him, he downright insults Squidward, making him care about the world, and so the two begin fighting each other to get to the Krusty Krab first. They finally decide to race for it, and they destroy the Krusty Krab, wanting to prove their employee dedication. But what makes the story so incredible is just how simple it begins, and how insanely develops throughout the story. It's basically just an employee dedication taken to the max, and the way they executed all of it makes it a fun watch throughout. The secret is never making anyone unlikable. They're all just competing until finally everything collapses and explodes. So the lesson here is, don't put any effort on your work or else you won't end pretty. Nature Pants is probably some of the best character showcase episodes of the show. Really, every character is likable. Mr. Krabs doesn't just laugh at SpongeBob's face and calls him an idiot or a fool or a moron or something. He explains why it is a bad idea to live with the jellyfish and convinces SpongeBob the kitchen is where he should be. Sandy just wants to help both SpongeBob and Patrick. Patrick brings the gags and some creepiness to the episode, and Squidward, well, Squidward just makes every single scene gold. From the 11 minutes quote to the dance to the end, Squidward is just so good on this episode, it's kind of incredible. As for the story itself, it really works as it has been established SpongeBob really enjoys being a jellyfish feels, or really likes jellyfish in particular, so it really isn't out of character for SpongeBob to want to go live at the fields. The story is believable, the gags are plenty and great, and the characters are really well written. Honestly, this episode is just flawless in many ways, and one I always go back with wanting to have a good laugh and some warm feelings for the ending. Wholesome all around. Fools in April is a really strong episode on the first half, and while the second sort of decreases, it never stops bringing jokes and different gags to show to the audience. If you're gonna make an episode about April Fools, you might as well make it a funny one. And this episode is incredibly funny, especially in the Krusty Krab scenes. After that, the episode takes a 180-degree turn and decides to evaluate Squidward as a character. I still can't decide if that makes it a better episode, or just an episode where the writers wanted to pack too much in. But I can't complain. If an episode has too much content, that's the good part about it. If an episode handles this much ideas in such a great way, it makes it a better episode. It's all fluid. That's what shows how good this whole thing is paced. This episode is enjoyable, funny, and just like the last one, just has a wholesome ending to finish your day with the good feelings. And I really have to mention it here, but the music really gives the scenes way more power. This episode has it all. It even has instant longevity. What would we do without this episode? Culture shock is another character showcase, done in a talent show manner. This episode is filled with stuff to mention, like the salad bar, that weird outline Squidward gets when dancing, Allen Ginsberg, and the fact that everyone likes Spongebob, and just the amount of characters this thing has. It's like everyone was new to this point. But you know what really makes Culture Shock stay at this point? The pacing and the comedy. First of all, the pacing is fast, natural, and smart. In the first 4 minutes, they set up the entire episode. Krusty Krab empty, need money, time to do live entertainment. Then the rest of the episode is just having different characters, do different stuff, which is where the comedy enters. The joke range from natural gags, cultural references, stupid randomness, and wordplay. Seriously, this episode has so many jokes and types of humor, I can't even classify it as one humor. So this episode might not be a culture shock, but it's definitely a comedy shock. And you gotta love that Squidward dance, the whole scene from the sign to the tomatoes, it's amazing, all around. The whole episode is amazing all around. There's one thing Homelander does right, is probably everything. There's not a single bad scene in it. All has a payoff or a good gag, but what makes Homelander stand out is just the chaos on his second and third act. The SpongeBob basically destroys the whole city, and that's the whole point of the story. But the way he does it is so simple, so grounded. I'm surprised they didn't went insane with it. All he does is make car crashes, break into houses, and then he breaks down houses. At the end, it's all really simple, but it's the acting and the music that help convey each feeling. When SpongeBob is running for his life, there's a feeling like he's actually terrified of where he is. While the atmosphere is well done, the jokes itself are fantastic. The whole minor scream is great, and the secondary characters are really fun. Same goes for SpongeBob and Patrick. They are a great duo in this episode. So that's what makes Homelander end here. All of its consistency and good elements. I love all the mysterious vibe Rock Bottom has. From the weird citizens, the music, the dark colors, the atmosphere. They really do a good job at setting up the unknown part of the place. And it's nice seeing SpongeBob has such a different set of emotions. He goes from happy, to scared, to mad, to determined, to scared again, to happy again. It's like a boomerang episode for SpongeBob's emotion. And I think that's what shines in this episode, SpongeBob itself. He's such a great character, they can pull off an episode where he's the only character. And the story is so simple, but at the same time, it's such a bizarre location. Everything feels new. Rock Bottom is one of the most unique episodes of the show, and I think this might be the best representation of the location, in both the shows and the video games. They made such a good showcase of SpongeBob, a new location, and the team's creativity. I'm surprised they didn't went here every year. First of all, let's get something straight. I'll just call this episode fun instead of FUN, alright? Cool. Now, this episode is fun all the way from the beginning. It's fast paced, gag packed, and it's probably one of the most strong starts of an episode in the show. This thing is like a mini adventure. The whole thing is perfect. The SpongeBob decides to be Plankton's friend, and the episode keeps its pace and never slows down. They present each concept from this episode, and it's all done fast, but just fast enough so the audience can still understand everything that happens. And come on, the fun song is so amazing, so incredibly simple, but the simplicity is probably what makes it stick. The thing is like 20 seconds long, and it's so easy to sing. And the ending, the whole cinema thing, is fine. It doesn't have a final showdown or a battle, but it's fine, it works. And it has some good gags. So fun, makes it in my top 3 for its fast-paced comedy and incredible segments between a perfect episode. Pizza delivery is so perfect. the rest of today still like the concept and keep doing it. But you know why pizza delivery shines? It's not the story, nor the gags. If you take all of that away and only leave SpongeBob and Squidward delivering pizza, that would still make a great episode. Now, let's bring back the gags, let's bring back the story, and we have an outstanding character combination. Let's now bring an outstanding team of writers to make an adventure. Not only an adventure, but an adventure with stakes, with an objective, a challenge. I don't even have to describe this episode, everyone already knows what happens. Everyone knows this episode is great. Honestly, pizza delivery is a great portrayal of how Squidward and SpongeBob act with each other, and the ending is so sweet, so great, so magnific, and ironic. It can only leaving you smiling. But you know what? All I said is true. The episode is perfect. But there is one episode I like a little bit more. Yup, I personally like Opposite Day a little bit more. I personally think Opposite Day is the best episode of Season 1. I have some things to say, after all, I gotta defend my opinion, right? You know how we just said pizza delivery has great character combinations? Well, I like SpongeBob Squidward, but this episode has the legendary SpongeBob Patrick Squidward trio done right, unlike in Jellyfishing. I think that's what makes Opposite Day such a perfect episode of the show. It's how complete the episode is. It has visual gags, written gags, absurdity, working characters, good use of music, and outstanding performances from the voice actors. This episode is simple, fun, and memorable. Sure, pizza delivery is probably better, I wouldn't argue with anyone who said that, but for my money, I think Opposite Day gets a bit more value. Just by a bit. I am making the decision of putting Opposite Day on the top 1 of Season 1. The episodes on missed the list were Pickles on number 12, and Valentine's Day at number 11, as the bubble episode. Initially, I was gonna put Valentine's Day in 10, but I started liking the paper a little bit more. Now that we finished the list, you can share your own list, and now we have to go to the crazy and hilarious show of Season 2. Really, Season 2 is even more inconsistent when it's episode ideas than Season 1. But hey, at least we're gonna get music. A bunch of music. This is the Gamer Goal, and I say, you got a good start Season 1, let's see Season 2 can beat it. They probably do.